All right, and welcome back, everybody, to another round of the Virtual Drift Championship. This is round 7 at Mondello Park, powered by Next Level Racing, sponsored by TireStacks.com and Grip Royal. My name is Craig. With me, as always, is Tanner. What's up, dude?
Oh man, qualifying, insane. If you missed it, go back and watch it. What an insane qualifying. I mean, high score there with Poleski with a 95.3 and the cutoff being, that 87 of Brandon Patrick and everyone in between, especially that group 4 that just went out and killed it. So battles are going to be crazy today.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of really good matchups, too. I believe here, just quickly into the top 32, we'll pull up that bracket, and the bracket is also located in the stream chat there if you want to follow along on your own screen and on your own. But a big battle coming up first, Poleski and Brandon Patrick. Brandon Patrick just barely making it into the top 32 today, and he's got a big battle ahead of him first. If you're just now joining us, here is the line map. Start of the course on the left, and pretty much the exact same layout from last season. Only difference here with that clip 6, as it used to have a wall last season. The wall has been taken away, a little tire wall off the edge of the track there, really allowing the drivers to use the full course there at clip 6 and make a nice arc around clip 7 and then out to clip 8 to finish out the course. But it looks like we've got our first drivers at the line ready to go and ready to do battle.
We sure do. So the first battle of the top 32 here of the round 7 Virtual Drift Championship, powered by Next Level Racing and sponsored by TireStacks and Grip Royal. Poleski in the lead position in the S14. Brandon Patrick giving chase in that Ferrari as they initiate in. T-Con off to a good initiation. Brandon really pushing hard to catch up to T-Con and putting that pressure on early off that first inside clip as they come through the Manji section. Brandon's leaving no room for error as they come onto the roll ride of clip 5. Really, Brandon putting on that pressure again. T-Con just sticking out front, doing what he needs to do, putting it through that final inside clip. This is where some ground could be lost, but Brandon does a good job to keep right there with T-Con to the end.
Yeah, not a bad start from Brandon in that chase position. And of course, T-Con with a very nice lead run out front. As we go back to the replay here, we see him enter in very similar to his qualifying run here, but does hit that inside clip just a bit. But Brandon right there with him and following him nicely through this Manji section here, right onto the bumper. Gives up a little space there as they settle into clip 5, but they keep things going. Brandon reels him back in right along that bumper once again in that big Ferrari. T-Con getting around that inside clip this time, out to that last and final outside zone, and a good finish there to start things out.
Yeah, it was a great finish. Back around at the start line. Ready to go again. Brandon Patrick now in the lead. Poleski giving chase. The light goes solid and off they go. Get through the gate clean. Brandon getting a good getaway. T-Con right there as they initiate in. T-Con right with them, matching that angle and line. A good line, though, from Brandon in that lead position through that first inside clip. T-Con sticking with them, but Brandon really doing what he needs to do. But look at the pressure from T-Con as they come into clip 5. Just sticking right with them. Not as big of a gap as the previous chase from Brandon. A little bobble there and a tap from the chase position as they finish out the run.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for the judges to call here as we go back to this replay with Brandon Patrick out front this time in that Ferrari, and a nice initiation with T-Con right there. Maybe even giving him a bit of a tap there around that inside clip. But they keep things going. T-Con right on the bumper of these transitions, but he falls back just a little bit there, but then makes a huge dive as they come into this big wall ride and just right into the pocket of Brandon out front. And there is that extra tap as Brandon comes just a little short of that inside clip. So it'll, there is a decel zone there, but it doesn't mean you can, really put on the anchors and drop a ton of speed there. It's going to be up to the judges whether they think maybe Brandon dropped a little bit too much speed or T-Con going a little bit too hard. But no, it is going to go to T-Con. Poleski And he gets the win and moves on into the top 16. But an exciting battle to start things out here in the top 32.
That is for sure, and it just shows how much pressure these guys have with how close everyone was throughout qualifying. As we have our next battle, Dmitry Mitten in that chase position, or in the lead position in the S15, Christian Petrov giving chase in his S14. The lights go solid, and the second battle is underway here. Dmitry Mitten initiating in. Christian Petrov playing it a little safe, taking that inside line, taking out that inside clip. Dmitry Mitten's putting down a good lead run here, but Christian Petrov not leaving enough room for the transition, sending Dmitry Mitten off course, and that will effectively end the first half of that run.
And unfortunate, Dmitry hitting that reset button and going back to the pit. But we'll take a look at the replay here. Again, Dmitry out front here in the top 32 in that S15, enters in nicely. Picking up that throttle on time and grabbing that inside clip. Very, very good. You see Christian on a bit of an inside line, and then, yeah, just stopping Dmitry from transitioning. Christian will continue on, finish the run. We'll go back live as they're ready to go for the second half.
Yeah, they've already taken off with Christian Petrov out front. Dmitry Mitten now giving chase, initiating in. Good line there from Petrov, but Dmitry just putting the car where it needs to go as they come through the Manji section now. There we go. Enough room left for those transitions as Dmitry Mitten's really starting to put on that pressure and close that gap towards Christian Petrov as they do one last transition into the final inside clip. And they're door to door as they come across that finish line.
Yeah, they sure were, in a very good finish to this battle here as we go back to the replay. And Christian may be experiencing a small bit of lag, which kind of makes me wonder if that led to the contact in the first half of the battle. As they make that first transition there, Dmitry right there along that bumper, again through this Manji section, both of the transitions. And then reeling him back in as Christian gives the wall a tap, has to make an angle correction, and they continue on as Christian really pours on that angle. And there's that bit of lag on that last and final transition. Dmitry doing a good job in the chase to keep things going, and we go to the judges. Dmitry on the left, Christian on the right. Who's going to get the win and move on into the top 16 after just the second battle here in the top 32? And there it is. Dmitry Mitten gets the win, and he'll move on.
And a good job there from Dmitry Mitten. As we move on to our next battle, Solokos in the lead position in his BMW, getting chased down by Artem Matsushenko in his S14. The lights go solid, and this battle is underway. Paris gets through the gate clean and initiates in, and right away Artem's right there with him, trying to match that angle. Good line into the first inside clip. They transition down into the Manji section, leaving enough room for the transitions here. Now the wall ride at clip 5. Artem tries to get as close as he can, maybe sacrificing a bit of angle there in line just to keep up with Vicaris as they transition one last time to that inside clip. Artem taking out that inside clip as they come across the finish line.
Yeah, good start to this battle here as we go back to the replay. Vicaris out front, Artem giving chase. There you see Artem entering in with a ton of angle. He does end up getting around that inside clip anyway. Good transition, staying on the right-hand side of the track. And Artem falling into that pocket. Falls back just a little bit there through that first transition in the Manji section, but then reels him back in, sacrificing a little bit of line there through clip 5. Last and final transition. Couple of angle bobbles here and there, but there they go across that finish line, finishing out the first half of their top 32 battle.
As they just get to the line now, Artem now in the lead position, and Vicaris now going to give chase. The light goes solid, and off they go for the second half of their battle. Both drivers getting out clean, and Artem initiating in. And a good initiation by Artem. Vicaris really pushing hard there off that inside clip to regain some of that proximity loss off the initiation as they come through the Manji section now onto the clip 5 wall ride. A little bit more angle from the chase position over the lead, but not making any contact as we see them come through the next inside clip. Vicaris doing a good job at keeping that pressure, keeping that proximity, and finishing out the run.
Yeah, he sure did, especially through that back half of the course as we go to the replay with Artem out front. Big initiation, carrying that speed, picking up that throttle and that inside clip nicely. And there you see Vacaris right along that bumper, chasing him through that second outside zone, as well as staying a bit closer there through the third one. And you see Artem settle into clip 5, lacking just a little bit of angle there, and then add some through the clip, and very smooth around that inside clip. But again, Vacaris right there with him. Very smooth by both. And we go to the judges. Vacaris on the left, Artem on the right. Winner will move on into the top 16 later today. Judging having a bit of a deliberation here with this battle. It was very even, very tit for tat. A couple of them had mistakes here and there, very similar to each other. Could we see him go one more time here in the top 32?
I definitely do expect a couple one more times today, as these guys were, so close during qualifying. So now it's just to wait to see what the judges do decide on that battle.
Oh, so a split call here. So we have Chris choosing Vacaris, Ed going with one more time, and Matt also choosing Vacaris, and he will get the win over Artem Matsushenko, and we'll see him later in the top 16.
Good job there by Vacaris to get into the top 16 as we move into our next battle. Wojciech in the lead position in his S15, up against Oliver Eppinger in the Toyota Supra in the chase position. We wait for that judge's call for there we go. The lights turn on and they go solid, and this battle is underway. Wojciech is going to initiate in. Oliver right there with them, though, almost door to door off the initiation as they come through that inside clip beautifully by both drivers. They transition down to the next outer zone and into the Manji section onto the wall ride of clip 5. Oliver is starting to put on that pressure and get on the door of Wojciech. Wojciech doing a great lead run here, though, as they make one last transition into that inside clip, with Oliver taking out that inside clip as they come through and cross the line.
Yeah, he sure did have to sacrifice just a little bit of line to try and reel Wojciech back in as we go to the replay here. Good initiation by both. Oliver jumping onto the door quickly in turn 1. Does fall back just a little bit for that first transition, but reels him back in right there along that bumper into clip 5. And again, staying with him through this long outside zone along the wall. There's that final transition. Wojciech picks up that throttle, pulls away just a little bit, and Oliver jumping back onto the door as they cross that finish line.
As the drivers just get back up to the line, Oliver Eppinger now out front in that Toyota Supra, with Wojciech giving chase in his S15. Lights go solid, and the second half of this battle is underway. Who will go see Vacaris in the top 16? Oliver initiates in, but look at that. Wojciech initiating just right there with them, keeping on the door as they come down to the next outer zone, transitioning to the next outer zone and into the wall ride of clip 5. Wojciech just right there, keeping it within the proximity limit and in the pocket as they transition to the final inside clip. Wojciech putting that pressure on, and a very even battle between these two. So it'll be a very interesting thing to see what the judges decide on this one.
Absolutely. It's a very similar mistakes, just in different areas of the course. You see Oliver enter in, and Wojciech washed just a little bit wider, though, while Oliver goes on the inside, hitting the inside clip. They keep things going. Nice and smooth transitions, and there you see Oliver pull a little bit of angle out through clip 5. Wojciech doing a good job to hang with him. Last and final transition, and here you see Wojciech really apply that pressure and maybe take a little bit of an advantage in that second half of the battle. We'll go to the judges. Wojciech on the left, Oliver on the right. Again, winner will move on into the top 16 to face Vikaris, who just got his win over Artem Matsushenko. Very close battle as these judges take their time to make a decision.
It was a very close battle indeed. Both of them were very good. Watching that was very nice, but I think Oliver's just deciding to drive away.
No, we do. We have a decision, and it's going to be a one more time. So Chris goes with a one more time. Matt goes with Oliver Eppinger, and Ed goes with a one more time as well. So they'll line back up and do it all over again.
Well, I knew today would bring out some one more times, and we already have one here early on in the top 32. Now we're back around with Wojciech out front, and Oliver Eppinger going to give chase for this one more time battle. The lights go solid, and off they go. Sleeping a little bit at the line there was Wojciech when the lights turned, but that won't stop anybody as they initiate in. Little slow to rotation was Wojciech, but drawing a good line. Oliver sticking right there with him, keeping it even closer to the door, leaving just enough room for that transition as they come on to clip 5. Oliver really putting on the pressure, getting up close, getting on that door. As we can see him come out of clip 5 now and transition to clip 6 into that inside zone. Oliver sticking right there on the door, and a much cleaner first run.
Absolutely. Oliver Eppinger coming out swinging here in the one more time. As we go back to this replay here, right along that bumper as they enter in, picking up throttle, smooth around that inside clip, and there, right along that bumper once again, is Oliver Eppinger, as well as this Manji section. And right along that door here through clip 5 and this big wall run, sticking with him the whole way. In this final transition, he gets it right this time in that chase positions, staying with him. And there they cross that finish line for the first half of their one more time battle.
And now it's time for the second half. Oliver Eppinger in that lead position. Wojciech ready to give chase. The lights go solid, and off they go. Good getaway by both drivers as we see Eppinger initiate in. Good angle from Eppinger, just grazing that inside clip. Wojciech having to take a closer inside line and actually taking out the inside clip as they come through the Manji section, leaving just enough room for those transitions. But on the wall ride of clip 5, Wojciech is getting right onto the door of Oliver Eppinger as they transition through 6 to come into that next inside clip. A little tap there maybe from Wojciech as they came out of it, but they finish out the run strong.
Man, could we have another one more time here as we go back to the replay of the second half with Oliver out front. They initiate in, and you see Wojciech jump right onto the door, sacrificing just a little bit of line to stick with him through that first turn, and then right along the bumpers here through the Manji section, reels him right back in for clip 5, setting in on maybe just a little bit less angle, but sticking with him and applying that pressure, and then jumping right back onto the door here. And there they go across that finish line. So very even lead runs and chase runs. Another tough one for the judges here. Wojciech on the left, Oliver on the right. Another close one indeed as we see these judges taking their time here. Looks like a lot of people impressed with Oliver Eppinger for that chase run he did in the first half of the one more time battle. And look at there. So this time Chris and Ed choose one more time, and Matt goes with Oliver Eppinger. And we line them up again.
How we do this round would promote good battles, and it always does. I love coming here to Mondello Park, and it's always such a fun time, and the drivers love it. And now with that wall removed too, it's just allowed for a little bit, I think, better chasing, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Opening up the course just a little bit more there in that section really allows for a smoother arc there across that inside clip, and kind of opens up the line for that chase driver to stay right there with the lead.
So let's go for the second one more time battle between Wojciech and Oliver. Wojciech in the lead, Oliver Eppinger giving chase. The lights go solid, and off we go for the one more time battle. Initiating in, Wojciech is, but right there, Oliver with him. Good line through that first inside clip as they come down to the next outer zone and transition for the Manji section. And getting onto the wall, not as aggressive as Oliver's last run, but he does get up onto the door before the end of clip 5 as they transition into 6 for that next inside zone. Just taking out that inside zone was the chase driver as they finish out the run. Inside clip, not zone.
And here we go with that replay. This time Wojciech out front for the third time here in this battle, grabbing that inside clip. Oliver right there with him and staying with him through the Manji section of the course. Does fall back maybe just a little bit there, but along the bumper, leaves some space and then reels him back in through clip 5 here along this wall ride. And last and final transition, giving up just a little bit of room and then reeling him back in, taking that little bit of an inside line, and there they go, finishing out the first half of their second one more time here in the top 32.
And back around at the start, Oliver Eppinger in the lead position now. Wojciech ready to give chase. The light goes solid and off they go. Oliver lighting up those tires as he shifts gears and initiates in. Wojciech right there with him. Little bit wide there on that inside clip from Oliver Eppinger as they come down through that outer zone and into the Manji section, leaving just enough room for those transitions as Wojciech. And Wojciech going wheel to wheel and door to door through clip 5, a lot closer than Oliver was as they come through into this inside clip. And again, Oliver taking out that inside clip as well, but look how close Wojciech was on that run.
Yeah, Wojciech really applying the pressure here in the second half of this battle. So we go to the replay. Oliver entering in nicely, but he does go just a little wide there, catching that second hash of the first inside clip, sort of opening the door for Wojciech as he does end up on maybe just a little bit of an inside line there coming into outside zone 2. But here is where the pressure gets applied from Wojciech in that chase position, right along the bumper for the last transition, and then back on to the door as Oliver ends up just a little bit on the inside of that last and final inside clip. And we go to the judges for the third time between these two. Wojciech on the left, Oliver on the right. Do we finally have a winner for this top 32 battle? And judges taking their time here for making a decision. Again, just the top 32 with 2 one more times.
I think it'll just pave the way for what's to come. I mean, we still have the top 16 and everything else to go through, so I'm sure we'll see more one more times.
Yeah, and we do have a winner, and it's actually going to be Oliver Eppinger getting the win and moving on, and he'll face Vakaris Alukas in the top 16. What a battle.
What a great heartfelt battle. I mean, Wojciech really laid it all on the line, but Oliver just gets a little bit of a better win and moves on to the top 16, but there's still another round to go, so we'll see you at the final round, Wojciech, as we let the next few drivers here load in before we start the next top 32 battle between Alexander Jaggard and Mustafa Amene.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll bring up that current bracket. Again, the bracket can be found in the live stream chat. But our next battle, Alexander Jaggard and Mustafa Amene, Victor Lachaise and Andreas Linnae after that. Cal Fonseca and Austin Zalewski, Powell Gross, and Mark Pretty to round out the next group of top 32.
It looks like everyone's almost in now as we just wait for them to all kindly load in. Hope everybody's enjoying top 32 so far, though. If you haven't already, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Keep up to date on all the cool content and all the fun stuff that we put out.
Absolutely. All really close to 8K on YouTube as well. I saw just this morning hitting 7.9. So, yeah, hit that button and get us to 8K.
Like we have Alexander Jaggard at the line. In the background, I can see Mustafa Amene coming up as well. Here we go. Next battle in the top 32. Alexander Jaggard and his S14. S15? 14?
14.
They look so close. It's a 14 out front. Huge initiation. Going way too wide for that inside clip. Mustafa manages to grab it and then gets right up onto the door of Alexander as they come through the Manji section now. Mustafa Amene going a little too hard. Maybe giving a hit to Alexander Jaggard in the front there, leaving some room on that transition to that final inside clip as they push wide and out for that final outer zone and finish out the first half of their run.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes from both drivers here as we go to the replay. We see Alexander enter in with maybe a little bit too much speed, grabbing that second hash mark, opening the door for Mustafa, and Mustafa's right there taking advantage right along the bumper. And then jumping back onto the door here as Alexander gives the wall a tap just before the contact. And then he's so deep there giving the wall a tap again that he somehow makes a puff of dirt pop up. But they continue on and finish out the first half of their top 32 battle.
That was concrete dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, dust off the concrete. Now back around, we have Amene out front and Jaggard ready to give chase. The light goes solid in the second half of this battle is underway. Initiating in is Mustafa. Right with them, though, is Jaggard, just barely grazing that inside clip as they make the transition to the Manji section, and looking good by both drivers so far as they come in. Ooh, maybe another wall tap there from Amene on that clip 5 wall ride. But Jaggard doing a great job at keeping that pressure applied and sticking right on the door of Mustafa as they go and finish out the run with a little wall tap from the chase position.
Yeah, really scrappy battle between these two drivers who are pushing really hard here. And here's the replay of the second half of the battle. You see Mustafa enter in with a ton of angle, hitting that first inside clip, but makes a good first transition with Alexander right along that bumper, giving up a little bit of space, and then starts to reel him in there. Mustafa gives the wall just a slight tap, leaves the wall just a little bit, but works that car back to the outside. And there you see Mustafa just on the inside, just a little bit there for that last and final inside clip. Will go to the judges. Alexander on the left, Mustafa on the right. Or again, maybe another one more time with these small mistakes between the two drivers in both halves of the battle. And look at there, Mustafa is going to get the win and move on into the top 16, where he'll face the winner of the next battle.
Good job there from Mustafa to get into the top 16. Our next battle, though, Victor Lachaise in the lead position, and chasing him down is Andreas Linnae in the Toyota Supra. The 180 SX of Victor Lachaise waits patiently for those lights to start blinking.
Yeah, hearing over Discord there, Chris explaining to those drivers, and it really just came down to the lead and the less mistakes out front, while Alexander had a little bit more giving up in that lead position.
That's something I can definitely see happening on that one as well. But the next battle is underway. Victor Lachaise gets out of the gate clean. Andreas Linnae giving chase. They initiate in, and a good initiation for both drivers. A little bobble from the chase as they come through that inside clip and transition to the next outer zone. Looking good. Andreas Linnae just keeping that proximity through. Whoa, Andreas Linnae not able to get the transition almost done there, and had to kind of just get the car back to angle as Victor Lachaise goes too wide there for that inside clip and gets a little nudge from the chase driver of Andreas.
Yeah, another scrappy battle here as we go to the replay with Victor out front, entering in nicely, picking up throttle, but does almost end up on the inside, get right around that inside clip. I like the line here as he settles into the Manji section. Again, Andreas doing a good job here until this transition. It almost looks like he's straight for a second there before actually completing that transition in the chase position. But then he reels him back in, makes another dive there, giving Victor a tap as Victor was going wide for that last and final inside clip.
Let's see if the second half of their battle is just as entertaining. Andreas now out front, Victor ready to chase him down. The lights go solid, and the second half of this battle is underway. Oh, and hitting that cone on the exit. So now it's time for the first restart. That doesn't happen often anymore where drivers hit the cone. And these are high quality cones. They're made out of pure titanium and concrete and every other hardest
6 feet of rebar.
Yeah. As the lights go solid again, and a good getaway this time. Andreas Linnae sends it in off that initiation. Victor right there with them though as they come down to the next outer zone. Victor really applying that pressure and trying to just keep within that pocket, not hit him on those transitions, leaving a bit of room there on the entrance into clip 5, but then regaining that proximity as they transition into clip 6. Now one left to go. Ooh, a bunch of taps there from the chase driver, trying to get Andreas to go a little bit faster through those last 2 clips.
Yeah, and here we go with the replay again, the second half of this battle, and you see Andreas enter in with a ton of angle, going just a little wide and offline for that first inside clip, but gets back online for the next outside zone. This Manji section here giving up a little bit of room on that outside zone. There you see Victor reeling him back in through clip 5 here, staying wide. Last and final transition, very smooth, but you see the small angle corrections and then the tap from Victor Lachaise in that chase position, and we'll go to the judges. Victor on the left, Andreas on the right. Looks like we need to get that picture updated for Andreas's new car and livery. I apologize there, Andreas. Judges taking their time here.
We know they're going to be looking at that contact at the end of the second battle there to see if maybe Andreas slowed up too much, lost too much wheel speed, or if Victor was just charging in too hard and gave him a couple love taps.
Yeah, same with the first half as well. There was some contact there along that last and final inside clip between the two. And judges taking their time here as Andreas cools his motor off. And look at there, it is. It is going to be a one more time. Now, Ed does choose Victor Lachaise, but Chris and Matt choosing a one more time, and we'll line them back up here in the top 32.
Yeah, one more time I feel like is granted on that one. Just both drivers making similar mistakes, and the judges are just going to want a cleaner run out of it. Here we go again. Victor in the lead position. Andreas giving chase. The light goes solid and off they go. Both drivers get through the gate clean. No restarts this time around as they initiate in. Victor on a good line there. Andreas right there with them as they come through and transition to this Manji section. Looking good so far. Andreas just putting the car to kind of, there we go. There's the proximity. Starting to get on the door as they come through clip 5. Now transitioning through 6 and a little bit of a gap there that Lachaise managed to make in that lead position that Andreas just couldn't get back.
Yeah, and we'll quickly go back to the replay here with Victor out front again, starting out the first one more time between these two. Good initiation and nice around that first inside clip is Victor Lachaise. Andreas falling back and now on a bit of an inside line, sacrificing a bit of angle there to give up room to let Victor transition and then reeling him back in for clip 5 in this big wall ride, sticking with him. And then last and final transition, Victor really throwing that car through the transition, gives up a little bit of a gap, and there they go across the finish line again for their one more time battle.
And now it looks like it's going to be the second half of this one more time battle. Andreas Linnae in the lead. Victor Lachaise giving chase. The light goes solid, and Andreas makes it through the cones. Initiating in. Look how close Victor already wants to be on the initiation. They come through that inside clip, maybe a little wide there for the lead driver as they come through the next outer zone, leaving no room on those transitions as Victor. He knows he's got to play aggressive here and gets really aggressive, giving a little love tap there to Andreas in the lead as they transition through clip 6, sticking right on that door, but almost having to park it and try and drive back up as they finish out the run.
Yeah, and here we go with that replay of the second half there one more time. Andreas out front. Off to a good start as both of them, as Victor puts it right along the door of Andreas' Supra there. They keep things going right along the bumper as Victor through these transitions, sticking with him through the Manji section, entering into clip 5. And right as Victor reeled Andreas in, you won't be able to hear it on the replay, but there was a bit of a lift of throttle from Andreas there through clip 5, maybe trying to grip that car up. But here we go to the judges. Victor on the left, Andreas on the right. And there they go. Unanimous decision. Victor Lachaise gets the win and moves on into the top 16 where he'll face off against Mustafa Amene.
What a great battle between these two. That was a lot of fun, and congratulations there to Victor. As we move on to our next battle, KO Fonseca and Austin Zalewski. KO in the lead position in that S15, and Austin in that brand new Toyota Supra. As we wait for the judges to give the go-ahead. And there we go. The lights go solid and this battle's underway. KO Fonseca goes for the initiation. Austin right there with them as they come into that inside clip, just touching it from the lead driver, while almost rubbing the bumper along KO's back bumper as they made that transition as they come through this Manji section. And there's Austin trying to get on the door of KO as KO's doing an awesome lead run here, putting it everywhere it needs to be, just grabbing that inside clip as Austin really struggling there through that inside clip, and a lot of adjustments had to have been made.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go with the replay here with KO Fonseca out front. Very good initiation from KO out front. Right along that inside clip with Austin right on the bumper through that first transition and sticking with him through the Manji section. Again, big dive here into clip 5. You see the angle bobble from Austin in that chase position, and he's on a little bit of an inside line, but right along the bumper there. And you see KO really put on the anchors there before picking up that throttle and just barely making it around that inside clip, which may have led to Austin on that inside line there in the chase position.
Well, now they're back at the start line and ready to go again for the second half of their battle. Austin out front in the JZA 90 Supra. Giving chase is KO Fonseca initiating in. Looking good off the initiation. Good through that first inside clip. KO Fonseca right there with them as they come through the Manji section. Austin's going to put it on the wall now, and a huge surge from the chase driver of KO to get up on that door as they transition into this final inside clip. Austin just knocking it over as they come through and finish out this run.
And here we go, back with that replay. Austin out front this time in his Supra and being chased down by Fonseca. Entering in with big angle as Austin grabbing that inside clip. Smooth first transition here, filling that next outside zone, while KO Fonseca giving up a little bit of room. And there, reels him in quickly as Austin gives the wall a tap. They both make a couple of bobbles here and there through that zone. And there you see, it's like Austin really never lifted off the throttle at all to really push that car wide and then back on throttle to drive around that inside clip. Opening the door for KO Fonseca, we go to the judges here. KO Fonseca on the left, Austin Zalewski on the right. Another exciting battle here in the top 32. And there we go, unanimous decision. KO Fonseca gets the win and moves on into the top 16, where he'll face off against the winner of our next battle.
The A80 Supra. Off they go. Wonderful sounds of the rotary motor as they initiate in. Good initiation here from Pavel. Mark Pretty not as close as he could have been off that initiation, and Pretty going really wide off of that transition as well into clip 3 as we see him come into clip 5 now. Pavel doing a good job out front. Pretty not with the amount of proximity I'm sure he'd like to have as he tries to make a dive there, but ends up washing really wide for that final inside clip. And Pavel just putting the car exactly where it needed to be.
Yeah, now he did come up a little short of that last and final inside clip, and here we go with the replay. Nice initiation from Pavel Gross out front, but when he makes this first transition here, you see he's on almost the left-hand side of the track, just barely getting into that outside zone in time, and then coming up for the Manji almost late there, while Mark sort of seemed to be on the right line. Now, it does look like Mark hit the wall, leaving clip 5, and there you see Pavel coming up a bit short of that inside clip. Getting the inside clip was sometimes an indication of maybe dropping too much speed there for that inside clip, especially if that driver, really isn't pouring on a ton of angle. But here they are lined up for the second half.
They sure are. Mark Pretty out front. Pavel Gross giving chase. Pretty initiates in with Pavel getting up into that proximity on the door. Hopefully, as they transition down the hill through the outer zone, there's that proximity from Pavel in the chase position. Mark Pretty going into clip 5, putting it on the wall. Pavel doing a good job keeping that proximity and holding the car where it needs to be. Both drivers taking out that inside clip and going too deep, and a little bit of contact there right at the finish.
Yeah, and here we go with that replay. Very similar second half to the first half here. Mark entering in, picking up throttle on time, just not quite getting around that inside clip. And there's that transition there. Again, not quite on the right-hand side of the track while making that transition. But there you see Pavel reeling him back in for clip 5 as Mark leaves the wall just a little bit. There's that last and final transition. Mark not getting around that inside clip as well, but Pavel making it around it this time, which could be an argument for the first half of the battle that Mark probably could have got around that inside clip with Pavel as well instead of shutting the car down. Either way, it's going to be up to those judges. Pavel Gross on the left, Mark Pretty on the right, and there it is. Pavel Gross gets the win and moves on into the top 16, where he'll face off against Kale Fonseca.
Good job for winning that battle there too, Pavel, as we just let our next drivers move in. Our next battle up is going to be Victor Alves and Abdulaziz Alharbi. Another great battle coming up here. Victor Alves was on fire during qualifying, really coming out and just putting it down. So it'll be nice to see what he can do up against Abdulaziz. We're halfway through the top 32 already too.
We sure are, with a few one more times as well.
I expect a lot more of those one more times today. We still got a lot of good battles coming up.
Again, just waiting on those drivers to load in. Don't want anybody joining in the middle of a battle, as it can sometimes cause a small lag spike.
We do have Victor Alves coming to the line. There he is. Victor Alves in the lead position, getting chased down by Abdulaziz Alharbi. Abdulaziz in the Hankook S15. That's going to be a restart there. That was an early jump. Victor Alves too eager. They want to get drifting. We want to go. But you got to wait for the light to go solid, Victor. Let's try this again. The light goes solid, and off they go. Victor Alves getting a good jump here. Abdulaziz right there, though, as they initiate in. Ooh, a big bobble from the chase position. The lead driver of Victor Alves doing a good job here so far. Maybe a little bit of contact there as they came into that third clip as they transition into clip 5. A little bit of a gap now, not as close in proximity as we've seen some other drivers, but keeping it together as they come through that inside clip. Now Abdulaziz getting on that door as they finish out the run.
Yeah, good start to the first half of their battle. Here we go with the replay. Victor out front, Alharbi chasing him down, and a good initiation from Victor Alves out front, just barely hitting that inside clip. And you see Alharbi falling back through turn 1 and then reels him back in for this Manji section, really trying to make a dive there, and then starts to reel him in. But Victor maybe pulling away a little bit there through clip 5, along that bumper, through the transition, around that last and final inside clip, and maybe a little wall tap there before crossing that finish line.
Well, let's see what the second half of the battle has in store for us. Abdulaziz out front, getting chased down by Victor Alves. The light goes solid and off they go for the second half of this top 32 battle. Initiating in is Abdulaziz, but right with him is Victor as Abdul takes out that inside clip as they come and transition down to clip 3. Now into the Manji section. Looking good so far. Clip 5, this wall ride. There's Victor Alves putting on that pressure. A lot closer than Abdul was on his chase run as they transition to the final inside clip. Getting up onto the door and going even a little deeper into the outer zone was the chase driver.
Yeah, he sure was. Alharbi maybe leaving that a little bit early before crossing that finish line, and here's the replay of it. Alharbi entering in, hitting the inside clip quite a bit there, but Victor right there along that bumper through that first transition, staying with him here through the Manji section, diving in through clip 5, Really applying the pressure in that chase position. Again, along that bumper. Very nice line from Alharbi out front, but there you see him drive off that outside just a little bit early before crossing that finish line while Victor filled it. And we'll go to the judges. Victor Alves on the left, Alharbi on the right. And here we go. We have a split decision. Victor Alves is going to get the win with Chris and Matt more time. But that's going to be enough to send Victor into the top 16. And again, he'll face off against the winner of our next battle between Jordan El-Nasser and Russell Jones.
Yeah, an interesting battle here. Jordan El-Nasser in the lead position after an amazing qualifying by him. Very happy to see him up against Russell Jones, who is, well, he's seen battle quite a few times. So this is all pressures on Jordan for this battle. As the light goes solid and off they go. Initiating in, Jordan El-Nasser out front. Russell Jones giving chase. Good. Whoa, waved far inside there from that chase position. Just completely obliterating that inside clip. Jordan looking pretty good here out front, looking solid, and a big proximity gap there from the chase driver, just not able to catch up and put the pressure onto Jordan. Jordan makes a small correction there to make it around that inside clip, but overall, an interesting first half of this battle, probably one I did not expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan coming out swinging with a nice lead run out front. Initiates in almost late, but he gets around that inside clip and fills the first outside zone. Good first transition, filling the next outside zone and starting to leave Russell Jones behind there in that chase position. Russell trying to reel him in here on a bit of an inside line through clip 5. And there you see Jordan pull away once more in that Viper, and Russell sacrificing some more line in that chase position to keep up.
Well, let's see how the second half of this battle goes. Russell Jones out front in his S14, getting chased down by the Dodge Viper of Jordan El-Nasser, initiating in. Here comes good line there. A little bit of a washout from the chase position. Going really wide, dropping a tire is the chase driver as well. Russell doing a good job out front here so far. Gets it into that outer zone of clip 5 for that wall ride. Quite a few corrections there from the lead, but the chase just putting kind of the car in a decent proximity, not getting too close, but just kind of keeping it safe.
Yeah, I think he may have done exactly what he needed to do in that chase position after the big mistake from Russell Jones out front. And here we go with the replay. Russell making a good initiation right around that inside clip, but here making that first transition a little late and dropping a tire into outside zone 2. Settles in nicely to the wall. Jordan starts to reel him back in that Viper, leaving a bit of room, very similar, and then jumps onto the door and gets around that inside clip. And there they go across that finish line. And we'll go to the judges. Jordan El-Nasser on the left, Russell Jones on the right. Could Jordan get his first win, the Virtual Drift Championship here today, round 7 of season 6? And returning in the Viper. Stuck with that car.
That is one thing. He's been committed with that car. He was, I'm going to make it work.
And look at there, unanimous decision. Jordan El-Nasser gets the win, and he'll move on into the top 16, where he'll have to face off against Victor Alves.
Wow. Congratulations to Jordan on your first win in the Virtual Drift Championship. As we have our next battle here in the top 32, Marcus Lindquist in the Hot Boy 240SX up against Daniel Mora in his BMW. As the lights go on and solid, this battle is now underway. Marcus getting off to a good start. Daniel Mora in that chase position. Whoa, Marcus getting all out of shape on that initiation. Good job from Daniel to just try and follow that line through as they come through the Manji section and into clip 5 and into the wall goes Marcus and straightening out. And that's sadly going to be an unchaseable lead in my opinion.
And here we go with the replay. A couple of technical difficulties there, but we got it all. And Marcus goes super wide through turn 1. Very unlike Marcus, making a huge mistake there. They continue on. Daniel's right there with him. And you see Marcus just go a little bit too deep into clip 5. Get a piece of the wall. Really straighten the run out while Daniel gives him a hit. And Daniel shuts that run down. Marcus continues on. And there he goes across that finish line. We'll line them up for the second half of their battle.
Well, here they are at the start line. Daniel Mora in the lead position. Marcus Lindquist giving chase. Marcus was so strong in qualifying, so it's weird to see such a big mistake from him on his lead run. But let's see what happens in the second half here. Initiating in is Daniel Mora. Looking good, really far inside for the chase driver, a little wide for the lead driver as they come into the next outer zone and go through the Monty section. Daniel Mora holding a good line, and now Marcus just kind of settling in behind him. They come through the final inside clip and push out to the finish.
Yeah, they held it together for the second half of their battle, and we'll take a look at it once more here on the replay. Daniel Mora entering in quickly, holding that speed, getting the third hash of that first inside clip. Makes a good first transition and kind of leaves a gap between him and Marcus. Marcus reels him back in through the Manji section of the course, and there you see Daniel really pouring on the angle in clip 5, going super wide along that wall. And a bit wide around that last and final inside clip, but again, finishes out that run, and we'll go to the judges. Marcus on the left, Daniel on the right. And there it is, unanimous decision. Daniel Mora will get the win with those big mistakes there from Marcus Lundquist in his lead position, and we'll see Daniel Mora in the top 16.
Well, here we go with our next battle to see who's going to face Daniel Mora. Will it be Zach O'Sullivan in the lead position, or will it be Robert in that chase? Zach O'Sullivan in his Toyota Supra. Here we go, initiating in. Good line there from Zach. The chase of Robert is doing decent to keep that proximity as they come through the Manji section. Whoa! And a huge shunt there from Robert, pushing into Zach O'Sullivan. They somehow keep it going as they come through this final inside clip and push all the way to the end. That was a huge shunt, and it almost looked like it didn't even affect Zach.
Yeah, it did seem to sort of stop Zach from making that transition. As we go back to the replay here, Zach entering in nicely. Big snap to angle and around that inside clip. Good first transition as he fills that next outside zone and looking good here. And then, yeah, really sort of stopping Zach from making that transition into the wall. And then Zach somewhat reinitiates. They continue on with the first half of their battle. But again, sort of shutting the run down with that contact.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting contact, and one I'm sure the judges will take a little bit of a look into. But they're back at the line and ready for the second half of their battle. Robert out front. Zach O'Sullivan ready to give chase. Initiating in is Robert with lots of angle off that initiation, but Zach right there with them as they come down into clip 3 and into this Manji section. A little bit of distance there, but oh, another big bobble from Robert in that lead, but it didn't upset Zach, and he sat right there with them as they come into this final inside clip. Zach putting on that pressure, really just holding his own as they come through and finish out the run.
Yeah, and we'll take a second look here on the replay. Again, Robert out front in that 370Z, and maybe going a little bit too fast again in that same section and getting a piece of that wall. He does a good job through turn one, makes that first transition, but not quite on the right-hand side of that track. Fill in that next outside zone, and there you see him get a piece of that wall. Has to lay into the foot brake to try and add that angle back and get back to the outside. Last and final transition. Really smooth around that inside clip and finishing out the course. But again, it's going to come down to that contact. And we'll go to the judges. Zach on the left, Robert on the right. Winner will move on to face Daniel Mora. And there it is, unanimous decision. Zach O'Sullivan gets the win over Robert and moves on into the top 16.
Yeah, up against Daniel Mora too, so that'll be a good battle between them. As we just have our last few drivers loading into the server.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick look at that current bracket. Tikhon Poleski and Dmitry Mitten will be coming up into the top 16 later. Vikaris, Lucas, and Oliver Eppinger making it through as well. Mustafa Amene, Victor Lachaise, Kale Fonseca, Pavel Gross, Victor Alves, Jordan El-Nasser, and Daniel Mora and Zach O'Sullivan making it into the top 16. But we've got 4 more battles left to go here in the top 32.
Sure do. And kick things off, Alan Hynes versus Ethan Pikachu. Alan Hynes in the Pro Drift Academy S15, Ethan in his BMW. The lights turn on for this battle, and solid they go. Alan Hynes, the clean getaway. Ethan right there with him as he initiates in. Looking good. Ethan trying to keep that proximity in that chase position as they transition down to the next outer zone through the Manji section. Now onto the wall ride at clip 5. Alan Hynes looking strong up front, but Ethan trying to put that pressure on, does a surge, but has to back out of it for the transition here into the inside clip and try to get back up onto the door, but Alan just kind of pulling away from him there after the inside clip.
Yeah, Alan putting down a really solid lead run here as we go to the replay. Ethan doing everything he can in that chase position. As they enter in, Alan right along that inside clip. Ethan falling back, having to give up a lot of line there, not quite making it into outside zone 2 or 3, and then almost getting a piece of the wall. He starts to reel Alan back in, but then falls back. Alan continues on this fantastic lead run here, picking up throttle right around that inside clip, and then filling the last and final outside zone with a little gap in between the two.
And here we go for the second half of their battle. Ethan out front, Alan Hynes giving chase. Ethan initiates in with lots of angle, going too wide for that inside clip. Alan sticking right there though with them as they come down to the next outside zone and into this Manji section. Into the clip 5 wall ride. Into the wall goes Ethan, but Alan just keeping with it and sticking behind him as they have one last transition into this final inside clip. Alan cutting the line just a little bit just to regain some of that proximity and finishing out that run.
Yeah, not a bad second half of the battle. Here we go with the replay. Ethan out front, initiating in. Alan right there with him, and as you pointed out, grabbing that second hash of the inside clip there, going wide, but filling the next outside zone. Has a ton of angle here through the Manji section. Alan giving up a little bit of room, and there you see Ethan give the wall a tap. Alan starts reeling back in right along that bumper. Ethan pulls away just a little bit, but going wide for that inside clip while Alan takes an inside line. And we'll go to the judges here. Alan on the left, Ethan on the right. And winner will move on into the top 16. And there it is. Unanimous decision from all 3 judges. Alan Hynes gets the win, and we'll see him into the top 16.
We sure will. And we could have an interesting little top 16 battle depending on how this top 32 battle plays out, as we now have his partner, his teammate in the other Pro Drift Academy S15, Reese Tatterson in the lead position, up against Brian Garcia in the chase. So could Alan and Reese meet in the top 16? We will see. Good getaway there from Reese Tatterson, but Reese Tatterson going super wide for that inside clip. And there's Brian Garcia getting that inside clip and making up the proximity loss as they come through the Manji section and onto the wall ride. Brian Garcia almost pushing the lead driver through clip 5 there as they make the final transition into that inside clip and out to that outer zone. Brian Garcia with a huge push.
Yeah, not a bad run from both. A couple of mistakes just here and there between them. A huge gap as they initiate in, but Reese just flying and going really wide for inside clip, opening the door for Brian Garcia to take advantage. And he does just that right onto the bumper through the transitions and giving Reese a bit of a tap there in clip 5 as Reese really pouring on the angle. Last and final transition there. Kind of a funky decel from Reese Tatterson out front, and Brian doing a good job in the chase position to stick with him.
Well, now we have the second half of the battle, and there's one thing we know, that Brian Garcia's Aston Martin is always very quick in a straight line and can hold that speed. So let's see how Reese Tatterson gets on with it as the lights go solid. Brian Garcia out front. Reese Tatterson giving chase, initiating in. Reese Tatterson right there with Brian as they come into that inside clip. Reese cutting that line a little bit as they come down into the next outer zone and into this Manji section. Into clip 5 on the wall ride. A lot closer as Reese Tatterson getting it on the door of Brian Garcia, but giving Brian Garcia a tap, putting him into the wall. And Brian Garcia straightening out because of it. He finished out the run, but wow.
Yeah, very, very interesting bit of contact, and I'm surprised they were able to keep the run going. As we go back to the replay, good initiation from Brian right around that inside clip, as he should. Smooth transition, filling that next outside zone, grabbing the next one as well, and then settles into the wall run. And here comes that contact. Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of angle was taken out of Reese's car in that chase position and goes into Brian just a little bit there and straightening Brian out. Very, very interesting. And here we go with the judges. Reese Tatterson on the left or Brian Garcia on the right. Judges may take a second look at those runs, especially that contact in the second half here.
And that's it's an interesting contact. I'm just seeing it again on my screen, and not sure if it was Reese just trying a little too hard there and getting a little too close, too aggressive, or maybe the judges will see something different.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, where Reese did make the contact, it was out front of that Aston Martin and just straightened it up just a little. And there it is. Brian Garcia is going to get the win over Reese Tatterson here in the top 32, and he'll move on to face Alan Hynes.
Well then, an interesting turn of events there.
You jinxed it.
I listen, the curse is real sometimes, and things happen. But you cannot blame us. Do not write us or inbox us anything. As we have our next battle of the top 32, only 2 battles to go. In this one, Masashi Yoshida, who was just on fire in round 6, now looking to return in round 7, up against Olivier. The light goes solid, and this battle gets underway. Masashi in that R33, Olivier in that S14. Initiating in, looking good out front is Masashi, but Olivier right there with them as they come down into that next outside zone, leaving just enough room for that transition on the Manji section into clip 5 here. A little bit of proximity lost, but then regained by the chase driver of Olivier as they come and make the final transition through 6 and into this final inside clip. Olivier not letting Masashi run away here at all as they come and finish out the first half of their battle.
Yeah, solid first half of the battle between these two. Yoshida out front in that R33, looking good here through turn 1, just barely hitting that inside clip. But Olivier holding his own there in that chase position, giving up a little bit of line there for outside zone 2, but right along the bumper through the transitions, gives up some room and then reels him back in through this massive outside zone, and then right along the bumper once again for the last and final transition, where Yoshida goes a little wide for that inside clip, but they finish out the first half of their battle and we line them back up.
And back at the line they are. Olivier out front now. Masashi Yoshida giving chase. The light goes solid and the second half of this battle is underway. They get to the gate clean. Let's see what Olivier can do in this lead position. Initiating in, lots of angle from Olivier, taking out that inside clip a little bit. Masashi having to make some corrections to keep up with that inside line that Olivier took. You see them come through into the wall ride section. There's Masashi starting to regain that proximity in that chase position. Olivier sends it into this final inside clip, just grazing it once more, but a lot closer Yoshida was near the end.
Yeah, and Olivier dropping a little bit of a tire there along the second to last outside zone. We'll take another look here. Hitting that inside clip is Olivier out front. But look at there, Yoshida right on the door into that second outside zone, right along the bumper as they make that transition, and then quickly diving back onto the door through clip 5. And again, once more on the bumper. As you see, that tiny tire dropping is still making it around that inside clip. And there they go, finishing out the second half of their battle. We'll quickly go to the judges. Masashi Yoshida on the left, Olivier on the right. Tough battle, and look at there. Yoshida gets the win and moves on into the top 16, where he'll face off against the winner of our next battle between Kevin Stump and Luciano Canero, our last and final top 32 battle.
It is the final battle of the top 32. Kevin Stump up against Luciano Canero. Kevin Stump in the S15, Luciano in that BMW. Kevin Stump again looked great in qualifying, so it'll be great to see what he can do here in the battle. Initiating in, looking good through that initiation and into that inside clip. Luciano right there with him though, as they come through that next outside zone and into the Manji section. Looking good on the wall ride too. Luciano though giving up no pressure and trying to keep that proximity as they come into the final transition and in that inside clip, door to door almost, as they come across that finish line.
Yeah, good first half, and Kevin Stump doing a very good job out front in that lead position, entering in and just quite getting around that inside clip. Nice and smooth transitions here out front, and look at there right on the bumper as Luciano gives up a little bit of space there, but then jumps back onto the door and stays with him through clip 5. As you see, Kevin pull just a little bit of angle out, last and final transition, picking up that throttle right around that inside clip. And there they go, finishing out the first half of their top 32 battle.
And back at the line, ready to start the second half of their battle. Luciano Canero out front. Kevin Stump ready to chase him down. The light goes solid, and the final battle of the top 32 here, round 7 of the Virtual Drift Championships is underway. Oh, a little bumper tap there from Kevin Stump on the run-up to initiation. It doesn't upset Luciano, though. Luciano keeps going as Luciano drops the tire in that lead position. Kevin Stump just sticking with them and keeping a decent proximity, trying to get closer as they come near the end of that wall ride, leaving the room for the transition for the final inside clip that Luciano completely misses as they come and finish out the run.
Yeah, interesting second half of the battle. We'll take a look at this contact here before the initiation. Yeah, you see Kevin Stump cross the center line there. But Luciano continues on a very good line there through the first turn, but then goes wide here for outside zone 2, dropping a tire. They continue along. Kevin giving up some room there in that Manji section, starts to reel him in more here through clip 5. Last and final transition, giving up some more room as well, but you see Luciano goes super wide, getting the third hash of that inside clip, and there they go across that finish line. Will go to the judges. Kevin Stump on the left, Luciano Canero on the right, and Kevin Stump's old 400Z pictured there, which is he's been working hard on that car and getting it ready for public release. So check him out on socials. Through Discord, it sounds like we have a decision here. Wait for the graphic. Again, last and final battle in the top 32 before we take a small break. And look at there, Kevin Stump, unanimous decision, gets the win, and he'll have to face off against Yoshida in the top 16. But again, that's going to do it for top 32. Very exciting battles so far. There's your bracket. Again, you can click the link in our live stream chat and follow along as well. But again, very exciting battles. Again, we'll take a very short commercial break and be right back with the top 16 for round 7 here at Mondello Park. All right, we are back for top 16 of round 7 here at Mondello Park, and it's been an exciting one so far. If you're just now joining us, here is the current bracket where Tikon is going to get a bye run. Unfortunately, Dimitri Mitten having issues with his internet and not able to connect to the server. But then after that, some really exciting battles. Again, you can follow along with the link in our live stream chat. And it looks like Tikon Poleski is ready at the line and good to go for his bye run.
Yeah, we'll just send him off for, I mean, not that he needs any more practice, but I guess he's getting more practice. So show us what you can do, Tikon. Make it nice and flashy for everybody out here. We call him the robot for a reason, because it doesn't matter who he's up against. He can put this car exactly where it needs to go. And look at that. Right up against the wall. Even going into it a little bit there. Leaving some of his greenback bumper on it. He finishes out that bye run and kicks off the top 16 of round 7 of the Virtual Drift Championship here at Mondello Park.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic run there he just did for his bye run.
And here we go with our next battle. Well, I guess our first battle of the day for the top 16. Solokos up against Oliver Eppinger. Vacaris out front, Oliver giving chase, initiating in. Vacaris, a lot of angle on that initiation, missing out on that inside clip. But Oliver right there with them in the chase, just keeping it on the door as they come through the Manji section into clip 5 here. Pushing hard as Oliver, keeping it right on the door. He wants to secure his next spot and get out of the top 16. Vacaris dropping a bit of tire there as they came through, but Oliver not lifting on that pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, sticking with him nicely as we go back to the replay. Vacaris out front in that BMW. Good initiation, lots of angle there, but he does go wide for that first inside clip. Good first transition, though, with Oliver right there with him, giving up a little bit of space there. Starts to reeling back in really quickly through clip 5 and staying with him along that big wall ride and along that bumper through that transition. Nice line from Vacaris out front in that BMW, but Oliver right there with him as they cross that finish line.
Now Oliver will be out front in his JZ A80 Supra, and Vacaris in his BMW will be giving chase. The winner of this goes on to face Tikon Poleski in that top 8. Off they go. Oliver initiates in. Vacaris trying to regain, but oh, same mistake made by Oliver, going too far outside of that inside clip. As they come through the Manji section now into clip 5. Vacaris trying to put on that pressure and get on the door, and he's managing to do so as they make the final transition into that final inside clip. And a little bit more proximity loss there from Oliver's chase run.
Yeah, and here we go with the replay with Oliver out front, flying down that straight, entering in with a lot of speed, and goes wide just like Vacaris did. Just Vacaris over-rotating almost in his lead position. They continue on. Vacaris right there along the bumpers, but giving up a ton of room there as they first settle into clip 5. And then he reels him in for the back half of it. And a very nice last transition from Oliver out front and pulling away just a little bit from Vacaris in that chase position. And we quickly go to the judges here in the top 16 for the first time. Vacaris on the left, Oliver Eppinger on the right. And there it is, unanimous decision. Oliver Eppinger gets the win and moves on into the top 8.
And up against Tikon Poleski. That is going to be a good battle between those two. We have our next battle getting up to the line now. Mustafa Amene in the chase position, and Victor Lachaise going to lead it off for us. we wait for those lights to ignite. There we go. Solid and off we can get with this battle. Victor Lachaise out front. Mustafa Amene giving chase. Victor initiates in. Mustafa getting right there on the door, sacrificing a little bit of line and taking out that inside clip as they come through the Manji section. Mustafa leaving a little bit of room as they make that next transition onto clip 5 of this wall ride. Mustafa putting on some pressure onto Victor Lachaise here as they come through that final inside clip. And almost a little nudge there at the end there from Mustafa.
Yeah, exciting first half of this top 16 battle between these two. Victor out front here on the replay. Very smooth initiation and just barely getting around that inside clip. Mustafa right there with him, applying that pressure, and then falls back just a little bit there, but then right along the bumper for the transition and reels him in good for clip 5, staying with him around this big outside zone. Last and final one there, picking up that throttle, working around that inside clip. But again, Mustafa applying the pressure and giving him a little nudge across that finish line.
Now back around at the front, Mustafa Amene going to lead this battle, this second half of the battle, with Victor Lachaise giving chase. Light goes solid and off. Ooh, restart.
Yeah, a couple of restarts today.
It's because they're so eager to get on with it. Now it's solid and good to go. Mustafa Amene lighting up those tires down that straightaway, initiating in. Victor Lachaise right there with him as they come through the Manji section now, leaving almost no room for that transition. And now Victor really getting up and giving Amene a tap there as they come through clip 5, transitioning into the final inside clip. Victor just putting it on the door of Amene through that chase run.
Yeah, Victor really applying the pressure here in the chase position as we take a second look here right along the bumper before they even initiate. Very good line from Mustafa. Snappy transition there. And they continue on again, as you pointed out, right along the bumper is Victor in that chase position, and then gives Mustafa a tap, and Mustafa does a fantastic job to keep it going after giving the wall a tap after the contact from the chase driver. And there they go across that finish line. We'll go to the judges. Victor Lachaise on the right, Mustafa Amene on the right, excuse me, Victor on the left. And again, winner will move on into the top 8. Mustafa qualifying 29th today, Victor qualifying 13th. Putting on a show here in the top 16 as we wait on these judges. Or could we see him go one more time?
I think they'll look at a few things, but I don't mind another one more time. It means more drifting for us and the fans.
Absolutely, and very exciting between these two drivers. And here we go. We have a split decision, but it is going to be a one more time. Chris and Matt choosing one more time, while Ed chooses Victor Lachaise, and we'll line them up again here in the top 16.
Well, the first one more time battle of the top 16. Victor Lachaise now going to lead again as Amene is going to give chase. The light goes solid and off they go for this one more time battle. Who will fill the next spot in that top 8? Initiating in, lots of angle from Victor Lachaise. Amene having to pull out a little bit, but making it work as he tries to keep it on the door of Lachaise as they come through the Manji section now right into the bumper. Amene getting really aggressive, giving the front end a little bit of a tap. It doesn't affect the lead driver though as they transition to the last half of this course through that inside clip. A big gap established there off of the inside clip as they finish out the run.
Yeah, very interesting run and made me stand up out of my seat with that transition into clip 5. And here we go with that replay. Very good initiation and line from Victor Lachaise, but Mustafa really applying the pressure this time in that chase position right there along the bumper. And here's that transition inside the bumper and then right onto the door of Victor Lachaise is Mustafa Amene in that chase position. They keep things going. And here you see Victor Lachaise really pull away before crossing that finish line for the first half of their one more time battle.
And now we have the second half of the one more time battle. Who is going to take that next top 8 spot? Mustafa Amene now out front. Victor Lachaise going to chase him down. The light goes solid and off they go. Initiating in, lots of angle from Mustafa Amene, but Victor right there with them as they come and transition down to the next outer zone. Victor trying to keep that proximity, and he's doing a good job right along the bumper again. Maybe upsetting Lachaise just a little bit, but he quickly regains that proximity and holds it right on the door of Amene as they come through the final inside clip. Now it's just a push to the end to see who will be advancing into the top 8.
Yeah, scrappy battle again. Here we go with the replay of the second half. And you see Mustafa entering in very nicely along that inside clip. Victor Lachaise giving up a little bit of space there comparatively as they work their way through this Manji section, but right along the bumper. And you see Victor have to make a small correction in that chase position, but then Victor does a much better job here through this section of the course in that chase position, while Mustafa is on a really good lead line. So we'll go to the judges again here between these two. Victor Lachaise on the left, Mustafa Amene on the right. Winner will move on into the top 6 or top 8.
Yes, we're in the top 16.
We sure are.
Or could we see another one more time?
It's possible. There were highlights between the two. But look at there. Chris and Ed both choose Victor Lachaise. Matt chooses one more time. But that's going to be enough to push Victor Lachaise into the top 8.
Congratulations to Victor Lachaise. Looking good this round. Let's keep that momentum going. Let's see who's going to go and face Victor in the top 8. Will it be KO Fonseca? Will it be Pavel Gross? KO Fonseca in the lead position in that S15. In the S14 of Pavel Gross, that rotary powered S14. As we wait for the lights to ignite. This next battle's underway. KO with a good getaway out of the gate. Pavel trying to catch up off the initiation and getting there. He does get on the door of KO. KO on a good lead line so far on the transition through the next outer zone. This is where Victor can make up that ground, or this is where Pavel can make up that ground as they come through clip 5. But look at KO's line through here, just putting the car exactly where it needed to be as he goes a little wide for that inside clip. And he just kind of holds it out to the end. Pavel was just kind of struggling to keep within proximity of KO.
Yeah, he sure was. As we go back to the replay, Fonseca doing a really good job out front, gets away along that run-up. And you see Pavel sacrifice a little bit of that line in that chase position, but then falls back a lot through that first transition. Cal Fonseca continues on a very nice lead line here, filling this full outside zone along the wall. And Pavel making a couple of corrections back there in that chase position. And then KO back on throttle, pulls away just a little bit, and they finish out the first half of their top 16 battle.
As they pull up to the line, the second half can get underway. Pavel Gross now in the lead. KO Fonseca giving chase. Light goes solid, and off they go for the second half of this top 16 battle. Pavel initiating in. Going a little wide there for that inside clip, but KO getting it perfect as they come down to the next outside zone. KO trying to apply that pressure, but leave enough room for that transition as they come onto the wall right at clip 5. KO starts to push up and get on the door, but then backs out of it as they come to transition to the final inside clip. Pavel losing a lot of speed there, but KO taking that advantage to get back up on the door as they finish out the run.
Yeah, and here we go with that replay with Pavel out front in the second half of their battle here, initiating in, picking up throttle, and then picking up around that third hash of that inside clip, opening the door a little bit for Fonseca to reel him back in. And he does just that, sticking along the bumpers there through the transitions and then reeling him in. And you see Pavel maybe pull a little bit of angle out of the car through that second half of clip 5, gets around that inside clip. And Kale Fonseca applying the pressure once more in the chase position. And we'll go to the judges. Kale Fonseca on the left, Pavel Gross on the right. Winner will move on to face Victor Lachaise. And there it is. Kale Fonseca gets the win, and he'll move on into the top 8.
Wow, what a crazy half of the top 16 and how fast it's going by. We're already in the lower half of the top 16 and only 4 more battles to go before we move into the top 8.
Absolutely. An exciting battle coming up indeed. Victor Alves and Jordan El-Nasser. Jordan El-Nasser's first time here in the top 16, and he has a battle in front of him with Victor Alves.
Yeah, Victor Alves looked super on point today, doing an amazing job in qualifying second behind T-Con. And, no discredit to Jordan, though. He has done an amazing job today to get himself into the top 32, getting that 91 in qualifying, and then finishing out his top 32 battle against Russell Jones and winning it. And now here he is for his first ever top 16 appearance as we wait for Victor Alves to get to the line. Did Victor maybe call his 5-minute timeout?
I haven't heard through Discord. Looks like he's just maybe still connecting.
That could be it. Sometimes the connection can be a little bit slower. There he is. Showing in the server now, so we just gotta wait for him to load. This got to be nerve-wracking for Jordan to sit there on that line all alone.
Yeah, it looks like his brakes are on fire right now as he sits on the line.
It's got that magic button on.
I guess.
You're an F1 fan, you know what that means. All right, here we go. Victor Alves at the line up against Jordan El-Nasser in the chase position as they get underway and initiate in. Victor Alves off to a really good start here. Jordan trying to keep up with them as they transition down to this next outer zone. Victor Alves just flying through the course, and Jordan's trying to keep up, keeping that proximity. There's the proximity now from Jordan in that chase position as they transition, but a big mistake from Jordan in that chase position. Maybe trying to be too aggressive and having to straighten out into that transition point.
Yeah, it looks like he might have even caught the bumper of Victor Alves out front as we take a look at the replay, and a little bit of lag from Victor Alves out front through that first turn. They continue on with a big gap in between them. Victor Alves doing a fantastic job out front, setting into clip 5 nicely, and there we see Jordan start to apply the pressure and then make the transition. Yeah, and Jordan just can't complete that transition in the chase position, and Victor Alves continues on.
We just kind of wait for Victor to get to the line. We'll have the second half of this battle underway. Jordan El-Nasser out front. Victor Alves chasing him down. The lights go solid and off they go. Jordan El-Nasser lighting up the tires in that Viper as he initiates in, carrying way too much speed though and missing out on that inside clip. As they transition down now, Victor Alves got to get that proximity as they come and go onto the wall ride of clip 5. Not as close to Jordan as he slowly makes his way out there by the end of it. Victor Alves is kind of keeping the car where it needs to be at this point, now getting that proximity as they finish out the run.
Yeah, and here we go with that replay. Jordan out front and flying down the run up and almost entering late there as you see him rotate through that first outside zone and goes wide for inside clip 1. But they continue on. Again, a bit of a gap in between them two. Victor hasn't or doesn't need to do much here in this chase position. Just stay with him, not get back too far. And there they go around that last and final inside clip, finishing out the second half of their top 16 battle. And we go to the judges. Victor on the left, Jordan on the right. Again, winner moves on into the top 8. And there it is. Victor Alves gets the win. We'll see him later on in the top 8. But good job by Jordan making it into the top 16 today.
Yeah, definitely some real progression there from Jordan, but Victor Alves moving forward. And who's going to go see Victor Alves? Will it be Daniel Mora? Will it be Zach O'Sullivan? Zach O'Sullivan in the JZ80 Toyota Supra in the lead position, and Daniel Mora in that BMW facing him down. The lights go solid and off they go. Zach trying to get the speed going. Daniel Mora already right there with him though as they come into that first inside clip. Transitioning down the hill, Mora just trying to keep as close proximity as he can as they come through the Manji section and into clip 5. Mora goes into the wall. It's straightening him out. Can Mora keep into it? He can, as he keeps that proximity wall, riding the wall the whole way around. Zach O'Sullivan on a great lead run here, and Mora just putting the car up on his door there as they finish out the run.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how Daniel was able to keep that run together and keep it going. And here we go with the replay. Very smooth initiation from Zach on a really good line so far. Good transition and ends up on a very good line here for the Manji section of the course. And there you see Daniel get into the wall, pull some angle out, and then hold it together and keep it going in that chase position without getting into the wall too much. There they go around that last and final inside clip and across that finish line. Really good lead out front. And just that minor mistake from Daniel Mora in the chase.
I believe that was the definition of if in doubt, flat out.
Absolutely.
As they're back around at the line, Daniel Mora out front. Zach O'Sullivan going to be giving chase. The light goes solid in the second half of this battle is underway. Who will go to see Victor Alves in the top 8? Initiating in is Daniel Mora. Right with him, though, is Zach O'Sullivan. They both make it around that inside clip clean. Zach taking it out just a little bit as they get the transition done. Coming through the Manji section now. Zach just putting the car right up. Oh, almost having to get on the brakes there was Zach to avoid hitting Daniel Mora as Daniel goes in just a little too deep as they transition into the final inside clip. Zach right there on his door as they finish out the second half of this battle.
Yeah, good finish in the second half as well. We'll take a second look here. Entering in side by side is Zach O'Sullivan in that chase position. Daniel doing a good job through turn 1. Very smooth transition and ends up on a very good line here through the Manji section. There's that transition, maybe even getting into the wall just a little bit again is Daniel Mora. Zach doing a really good job to not go into Daniel. And there's Daniel going just a little bit wide for that inside clip. And finishing out the second half, we'll go to those judges. Zach on the left, Daniel on the right. Winner will move on to face Victor Alves in the top 8. And it will be Zach O'Sullivan and his Supra moving on.
Good job from Zach. Moving on to face Victor Alves in that grade 8. And now to determine the last 2 grade 8 spots with one of these next 2 battles. Alan Hynes in the Pro Drift Academy S15 in the lead position. Brian Garcia chasing him down in that Link ECU Austin Martin as they initiate in. Alan Hynes with a lot of angle but makes it through that inside clip. Brian Garcia sticks with them through it as they come through the Manji section. Now a little late on the transition there was the chase driver. Lots of angle from Alan Hynes though, driving off of the wall and having to bring it back. Brian does a good job not to make contact as they come into the final transition. Chase driver goes a little wide for that final inside clip as they finish out the run.
Yeah, we'll take a second look here. Allen out front making just a couple of mistakes, as well as Brian Garcia. Allen entering in with a ton of speed, picking up throttle early, and picks up that inside clip. Very nice transition here. And then a super snappy one here, maybe catching Brian off guard. And there you see Alan Hynes start to over-rotate the car. Has to make a correction as he drives away from that wall. Brian Garcia doing a good job, but there, as you pointed out, Brian Garcia washing a bit wide for that inside clip. And there they go, finishing out the first half of their battle.
Oh, how the turns have tabled. As we get into the second half of this battle, Brian Garcia in the lead position. Alan Hynes chasing him down. Let's see what Brian Garcia can do here as he initiates in. Alan Hynes sticks with him. Brian Garcia does a good job taking out that inside clip just a little bit, but Alan Hynes makes it through as they come through the Manji section now. Good job through there, leaving that proximity. Alan Hynes starts to close up on the Aston Martin as, Brian Garcia goes into the wall a little bit on the exit as they make that final transition into that last outer zone and finish out the run.
Yeah, not a bad second half of their battle here. Brian Garcia out front in the Aston and entering in, very smooth initiation, gets around that inside clip, almost giving it a little tap with that front bumper, ends up on a good line here as they work their way through the Manji section of the course. Brian settles in nicely to clip 5, no big adjustments there until they're getting a piece of that wall and continuing on anyway around that inside clip. Alan Hynes right there with him. And we'll wait on these judges. Alan on the left, Brian Garcia on the right. Or could we see him go one more time?
I think the judges are just going to look at over rotation from Alan, if anything. I think that'll be the deciding factor in this.
Yeah, absolutely. A very unfamiliar mistake that we saw there from Alan Hynes out front, just pouring on that angle through clip 5 and has to pull it out and leave that wall as well. And Brian doing a good job to stick with him, but then Brian goes really wide for that inside clip in that chase position. But then Brian does an overall good job out front in the lead.
Other than the small wall tap, yeah, it was a pretty good lead. So definitely going to be a deliberation here.
And there it is. Alan Hynes is going to get the win and move on into the top 8.
Good job there from Alan, and a good fight from Brian. As we move on to our final battle of the top 16, Masashi Yoshida up against Kevin Stump. Masashi in the R33 in the lead position. In the S15 is Kevin Stump in that chase lane.
Yeah, hearing through Discord and Ed's explanation, Alan had that mistake out front, but was able to keep that run going, both of them. Really didn't affect it too much other than leaving that wall while Brian gave the wall a tap and almost ending the run, really almost straightening Brian out, and then Brian's big mistake in that chase position going wide around that inside clip.
A good explanation there from the judges. We move on to our final battle. Masashi out front. Kevin Stump giving chase. Masashi coming in with too much speed, going too wide for that inside clip as Kevin Stump takes advantage of it and keeps that proximity going through the Manji section as they come into the wall ride of clip 5. Masashi out doing a good job riding that wall the way around. Kevin trying to regain the proximity from Masashi as they come through that final inside clip. Masashi just able to keep that distance away and not allow Kevin to get up on the door.
Yeah, Masashi doing a really good job out front. As we take a look at the replay, good initiation, does go wide for that inside clip, but you see Kevin Stump on the extreme inside there, hitting that inside clip, and then getting choked up through that first transition, as well as that one coming into clip 5, while Masashi continues on in that R33. Kevin Stump starts to really mend slowly here through the back half of this course, and there they go, finishing out the first half of their battle.
Here we go for the second half. They're back at the line. Kevin Stump in the lead. Masashi Yoshida giving chase. The light goes solid and off they go. Who will go to see Alan Hynes in the top 8? Initiating in. Masashi right there on the door of Kevin Stump as they transition down to that next outer zone. Leaving almost no room for that transition was Masashi as they come into the wall ride of clip 5. Masashi putting it on the door, going wheel to wheel with Kevin Stump as he has to back out of it to leave room for the transition. They both go wide into that final inside clip. Masashi giving him a little love tap there right after the finish line.
And here we go with that replay. Kevin out front this time and being chased by Yoshida. And a fantastic initiation from Yoshida back there in that chase position, right along that door and applying the pressure coming into outside zone 2, right along the bumpers through the Manji section of the course, and then settling in nicely to clip 5. They continue on again, almost a little tap there from that chase position. And then Kevin going wide for that last and final inside clip, and there they go across that finish line, getting nudged by Masashi. And we'll go to the judges here. Masashi Yoshida on the left, Kevin Stump on the right. And there they go, a unanimous decision from all 3 judges. Masashi Yoshida getting the win over Kevin Stump here in the top 16. And that's going to finish up the top 16 as we move on into the top 8 with a very exciting battle coming up. Tikhon Poleski versus Oliver Eppinger. Victor Lachaise versus Kale Fonseca. Victor Alves versus Zach O'Sullivan. Alan Hynes and Masashi Yoshida to round things off in the top 8.
I mean, this is only going to get better and better because thinking about the point standings at the moment is Alan Hynes needs to either win or come in second, and Zach needs to win, where if Tikhon wins, well, it kind of changes a lot. There's really no hope then for the other two, but there's a chance that they're going to meet up, and yeah, it's going to be crazy. This could really upset the third and second positions here.
There, Oliver Eppinger is ready and at the line, waiting on Alan Hynes. Again, our last group to really load into the server at all is these next 8 drivers.
Sure is, and at the line now is the man himself, Tikhon Poleski, our current points leader, up against Oliver Eppinger in the JZ A80 Supra. The lights go solid and the top 8 gets underway. They head down the line and initiate in. Lots of angle from Poleski out front, but Oliver doing a good job to keep it there, almost not leaving enough room for that transition as they come through the Manji section. Oliver is giving everything he's got to go up against Tikhon Poleski, going wheel to wheel with them through clip 5 on this wall ride. Transitioning for the last 3 clips. Too hard goes Oliver and hits Tikhon Poleski, but it doesn't upset the run, and they still finish it out.
Yeah, very interesting bit of contact there, and unfortunate to see from Oliver Eppinger in that chase position. As we take a second look on the replay, very good line from Tikhon Poleski out front, but look at the pressure Oliver Eppinger is applying in that chase position right along the bumper through each and every transition, and reeling him back in and staying with him through clip 5 as they work through the course. And here's that last and final transition, and maybe just going a little bit too hard is Oliver Eppinger in that chase position, giving Tikon Poleski a tap and sending him wide for that last and final inside clip.
A good job from Tikon to get that hit and then hang on to it and keep going. But now we have them reversed for the second half of this battle. Oliver Eppinger out front. Tikon Poleski now going to give chase. We see them initiate in. Lots of angle there from Tikon Poleski. They both go wide for that inside clip. Oliver Eppinger is just going to try and make it work here through the Manji section, as there's the big surge from Tikon Poleski, putting it on the door and getting it nice and deep into that wall ride as well. Oliver going to make a good transition into that inside clip as they finish out the run.
Yeah, smooth second half, but again, a couple of mistakes from Oliver out front this time. Initiating in, picking up throttle early, and then going wide for that inside clip. And there you see Tikon jump right back onto the door, falling back just a little bit there, but then quickly reeling him in through this big outside zone and staying with him, applying that pressure, giving up a little bit of room for that last and final transition, and then again reeling him back in around that inside clip. And there they go, finishing out their battle here in the top 8. Tikon Poleski on the left, Oliver Eppinger on the right, as we wait on these judges. And winner will move on into the top 4. And Tikon still on top of that championship. One more round to go after this. And I believe just 43 points between him and Alan Hynes.
Yeah, not a lot of points between the two, but at this point, every point matters. And I mean, Tikon, when I was looking over the standings, it just showed, the first round wasn't the best, and then all of a sudden a fire got ignited, and he's been basically winning every round since.
Just about. I'm pretty sure he has been on the podium every round since, and not even just in our series. And look at there, Tikon does get the win and move on over Oliver Eppinger, but a good fight from Oliver Eppinger here in the top 8.
Yeah, big congrats there to Oliver to make it this far. But now we have our next battle to see who's going to face Tikon Poleski in the top 4. Will it be KO Fonseca in his S15, or will it be Victor Lachaise in his 180SX? We wait for those lights to go. And here we go with the next battle. KO Fonseca and Victor Lachaise initiating in. Victor Lachaise with a little bit of a bobble there off the initiation. Had to recorrect his angle as they came through it. KO looking good out front so far as they come through the Manji section. Almost no room left from Victor on that transition. Victor pushing up, giving a front end hit to KO Fonseca and putting him into the wall. KO's going to keep going, but there was that contact's definitely going to end that run.
Yeah, and if I remember right, Victor has done that a couple of times today, just giving a couple of small taps through clip 5 and then maybe just getting into it a little bit too much. As we take a second look on the replay here, Fonseca doing a really good job out front in that lead position. As you pointed out, that mistake in that first turn, but Victor gets right back into it, pours on the angle there, and then pulls out of it and gives KO Fonseca a tap up front, sending Fonseca into the wall. But Fonseca doing a good job to keep that run going anyway, and we'll line them back up for the second half of their battle.
They're lined back up and ready to go. Victor Lachaise out front, KO Fonseca giving chase. Light goes solid, and here we go for the second half of their battle to see who's going to join Tikon in the top 4. Initiating in is Lachaise, coming in with a nice arc there into that inside clip. KO, though, not leaving any room here as they come into the Manji section and into clip 5. KO just trying to put the car up onto the door, but still playing it a little safe as they come through and into the final inside clip. KO now going to just keep the car where it needed to be the whole way through after that contact in the first run.
Yeah, I think Fonseca did exactly what he needed to in that chase position. As we take another look here, really good initiation from Lachaise out front and on a good lead line here and doing what he needs to do as a lead driver, filling that next outside zone, each and every one of them, and setting into the wall nicely, while Fonseca does make a small mistake there on the inside line through that zone, but then gets back into the pocket here, makes another dive as both go a little bit on the inside of that last and final inside clip. And we'll go to the judges. Cal Fonseca on the left, Victor Lachaise on the right. And winner will face Tikhon Poleski in the top 4. And there it is. Fonseca gets the win. It comes down to that contact, and he'll move on to the top 4 where he'll face off against Tikhon Poleski.
Well, now to decide the bottom half of the bracket, Victor Alves in the lead position, Zach O'Sullivan chasing him down. Victor Alves initiating in, Zach right there with him as they go. Oh, Alves goes wide for that inside clip as they transition down to the Manji section. Zach not leaving enough room for the transition. And that would have been a straighten from Victor Alves. Well, I believe this run is effectively over. They're still going to battle it out here, but that almost looked like Zach did not leave enough room for that transition.
Yeah, we'll certainly take another look at it here on the replay. Again, Victor Alves out front. And we know Victor Alves is having a bit of latency issues here, so we'll take a really close look. Very smooth transition. And then, yeah, you could almost see a gap in between the cars there, and Victor Alves' car still getting upset anyway, and then going into the wall. And they continue on anyway, and there they go across that finish line. So very interesting, and it might come down to the latency issues that Victor Alves is unfortunately having out front.
Yeah, as our rule book does state, you know, it is on the person who is lagging. So we'll start the second half of this battle, though. Zach O'Sullivan out front, Victor Alves giving chase. Good line there from Zach O'Sullivan, taking out that inside clip just a little bit as they transition to the Manji section. And no contact here this time around, but Victor Alves getting nice and up and close and personal to Zach O'Sullivan through clip 5 as they transition into that final out inside clip. Zach goes wide for it, and they cross the finish line.
Yeah, Victor really going after it in that chase position with Zach out front. And here's that replay. Entering in almost side by side is Victor and jumps right onto the door of Zach O'Sullivan's Supra. They continue on right along that bumper as well, fill in the next outside zone. They continue on, and here's that big dive from Victor Alves in that chase position and staying with him through this big outside zone along the wall. Last and final transition. And Zach going really wide for the inside clip. They continue on across that finish line, and we'll wait on the judges. But again, it's going to come down to the really weird contact. And there they go, quickly to the right for Zach O'Sullivan. As I did hear them over Discord, notice that there was a big gap in between those cars. And as you stated as well, you know, according to our rule book, it is going to be on the fault of the person who is having those latency issues. Just super unfortunate.
It sure is, but looks like the judges want to get going. Our next battle's already underway. Alan Hynes and Masashi Yoshida. Alan Hynes initiates in. Yoshida right there on the door of Alan Hynes through that inside clip as they transition down to the Manji section. Still on the door was Yoshida up until the transition. Now into clip 5. Yoshida surges back onto the door of Alan Hynes. Alan Hynes starts pulling away, though, as they get to the end of the clip 5, transitioning now into that final inside clip. Yoshida putting it back on the door and pushing Alan Hynes across the line.
Yeah, a little rematch from the top 32 battle between these two at Autopolis last round. And Masashi really going after it in that chase position. Of course, Alan doing what he needs to do as a lead driver, filling these zones on the correct line here. Smooth transition into clip 5, doesn't over rotate this time, continues on a wide line. Masashi falls back just a little bit, but then right back onto the bumper for that last and final transition and staying with him and pushing him along that finish line.
Maybe an interesting second half here with Masashi Yoshida leading, and Alan Hynes giving chase. Masashi has really been on fire the last few rounds here. Let's see what he can do in the lead position. Initiating in, Masashi Yoshida goes in, grabs that inside clip beautifully. Alan Hynes right there with him though, as they transition to this Manji section through the first outside zone. Transitioning now to clip 5 onto that wall ride. Alan Hynes got to make that push and gets into the pocket, but not quite on the door as they transition for the final inside clip. A huge hit from Alan Hynes, upsetting Yoshida and sending him into the wall.
Oh man, we will certainly take another look at this on the replay. Yoshida out front, being chased down by Alan Hynes. Yoshida doing a really good job out front on the correct line, filling that zone there. Coming up maybe just a little bit late for outside zone 3, but settling in nice to clip 5 where Alan really applies the pressure through this big outside zone. Last and final transition, picking up throttle on time, and there you see just a little bit of nudging there from Alan Hynes, and then Yoshida ends up into the wall. And here we go with the judges. Alan Hynes on the left, Masashi Yoshida on the right. Let's hope it doesn't come down to some latency issues as well, as it did seem like there was maybe a little bit of a gap in between the two as those contact hits were happening. So we know Yoshida is all the way over in Japan. Server is located in the UK. We'll give the judges some time to look it over, as I'm sure they'll back up the stream. And there it is. So Matt calls it one more time. Chris and Ed choose Alan Hynes.
So Alan Hynes moves on to him.
Yeah, listening into Chris explain it to the drivers, and they saw the same thing as well with that contact. There was quite a gap in between the two cars there as that contact happened, and it to them it really didn't affect Alan all that much, like much similar to how the Zach and Alves contact happened, where Zach was unaffected while the lead car was affected. So they saw it as lag, and again, unfortunately, on our rule book, it goes to the person who was experiencing the lag, and they get the fault for the contact. Another super unfortunate to see, because that's twice now that Masashi has really brought the fight to Alan Hynes and has done a fantastic job.
Well, that wraps up our top 8 and brings us into the final 4. Tikhon Poleski, Kale Fonseca, Zach O'Sullivan, and Alan Hynes. Who will take home the winner here at round 7 of the Virtual Drift Championship? We got our first battle here. Tikhon Poleski in the lead. Kale Fonseca giving chase. The light goes green, or the light goes solid, and off we go. Initiating in is Tikhon Poleski with a lot of angle, grabbing that inside clip. KO having to sacrifice a lot of that inside line and take out that inside clip as they come through the Manji section now. Really on the bumper there as they transition into clip 5, putting it up on the wall. KO doing a great job of getting right onto the door of Tikhon Poleski as they come through that final inside clip. KO literally on the door of Tikhon the whole way through.
Yeah, and showing there, coming off that last battle, the amount of room that could have been made up between Allen and Masashi, as you see Tikon on a really good lead line there through turn 1. KO sacrificing a little bit of line there, but right on the bumper of Tikon Poleski through that transition and settling nicely into the pocket for clip 5. And they continue on. Again, right on the bumper is KO Fonseca, really bringing the fight to Tikon in the second half of this battle.
Well, now Tikon's got to bring the fight to KO. KO out front, ready to try his hand in the lead position. Tikon Poleski is ready to chase him down. The lights go solid in the second half of this battle is underway. Who's going to be the first driver to make their way into one of the podium spots as KO initiates in. It does a good arc into that first inside clip. Right behind him, though, and on his door very closely is Tikon Poleski as they come through the Manji section and into clip 5. Tikon surges up, tries to get on the door of KO Fonseca, leaving just a little bit of room there, though, as they come through and transition into this final inside clip. Tikon now gets onto the door, but maybe not as close as KO was.
Yeah, we'll take another look at it here with Fonseca out front in the second half of their battle. Tikon Poleski chasing him down. And KO Fonseca getting out to a good lead there along that initiation. Very smooth, very good lead line as well from Fonseca. And there you see Tikon falling back through the Manji section, but then jumping right back onto the door of Fonseca through that big outside zone, right along the bumper as well for the last and final transition. And there you see him cross that finish line for the second half of their battle. Will go to the judges. Winner will move on into the final battle. But that loser will stick around for the top 3 battle to see who takes home the 3rd place podium here for round 7. And look at there, KO Fonseca sending it into a one more time. Chris does choose Tikon Poleski, but Ed and Matt both choose one more time, and we'll line them back up here in the top 4.
Well, one more time in the top 4, one more time in the grade 8, or in the top 8, one more time in the top 16, one more times in almost everything here. That makes me happy. All the drifting. We wait for Tikon and KO to get back to the line. We're now into the closing stages of this event today, so we just want to thank everybody for following along and hanging out with us throughout this whole top 32. Now right down to the finals, and we're into the final 4, or the final 2 battles before we get into the finals of the day. Tikon Poleski back at the line in the lead position. KO Fonseca in the chase position, ready for their one more time battle. The light goes solid and off they go. Who will end up in one of them podium spots as Tikon sends it into that first inside clip, but right beside him again is KO Fonseca, putting it on the door through the transition as we see them come into clip 5 now. KO's got to make that same surge and get up onto the door of Tikon. Can't really get it as he has to back out for the transition here into this final inside clip, sacrificing a lot of the inside line and really pushing Tikon through that final clip.
Yeah, he certainly did, really going after it there in the back half of that course. And here we go with that replay. Tikon once again on a very good line through turn 1. Snappy transition to set him up for this Manji section of the course. Very early there for that outside zone and settles in nicely to this big outside zone. You see Fonseca surging and then has to back off for that last and final transition. And then sacrifices a little bit of line there and then nudging Tikon across that finish line.
Well, an interesting first half. Let's see how the second half goes. KO Fonseca out front. Tikon Poleski giving chase. The second half of this one more time battle ready to get underway right now. Who's going to be the first to go into one of them podium spots? Will it be Tikon? Will it be KO? Initiating in, KO Fonseca coming in, going too wide for that inside clip. Tikon sticks right there with them as they transition down to this Manji section and transition through it into clip 5 now, this wall ride. Tikon going wheel to wheel with KO and almost door to door as they come through to the transition for the final inside clip. Pushing hard is Tikon right up against KO as they finish out the run.
Yeah, good second half, but Fonseca did have that mistake in turn 1 as we take another look here. Entering in, picking up throttle, but does end up wide for that first inside clip. Tikon does fall back just a little bit there as they come into outside zone 2, but then reels him back in as they set into this big outside zone along the wall, and Tikon stays with him throughout that outside zone as well as the back half of the course as he reels him back in through that inside clip and across that finish line with no contact. Will go to the judges. Who's going to go to the finals? Tikon Poleski or KO Fonseca?
Will it be another one more time?
And there it is, unanimous decision from all 3 of those judges. Tikon Poleski will get the win, and we'll see him in the final battle here at round 7.
Well, now we have another crazy battle coming up between these two as points are on the line. Our second position, Zach O'Sullivan in the chase. Zach is in second place in the championship point standings, or third place, and in second place is Pro Drift Academy's Alan Hynes in the lead position. Let's see what happens here. Initiating in is Alan Hynes. Lots of angle off that initiation. Zach keeping right there with them, though, as they transition into the Manji section, leaving no room against that bumper as they transition into clip 5. Zach with a huge surge, getting up onto the door of Alan Hynes, keeping it there and keeping that proximity as they transition into the next inside clip. And a good job there from Zach O'Sullivan, just keeping that proximity for that great lead run that Alan put on.
Absolutely a fantastic first half of this top 4 battle here. Alan initiating in with tons of angle, goes just a tiny bit wide around that inside clip, opening the door for Zach, and Zach takes advantage and sticks with him through the rest of this run here along the bumper, and then that big surge there in this outside zone, staying with Alan. Last and final transition gives up a little bit of room, but then reels Alan right back in as Alan was on a really good lead line. But again, Zach applying the pressure in that chase position.
And now we have the second half of the battle getting underway. Zach O'Sullivan in the lead, and Alan Hynes is going to chase him down, initiating in. Alan Hynes is right there with him off the initiation as they come through that inside clip. A good job through that inside clip for the lead. Alan Hynes sticking with him as they come through that transition. Oh, that was close, leaving no room on it as they're into clip 5 now. On the door goes Alan Hynes. A little bit of a correction from the chase as they transition into that final inside clip, and looking great, almost identical runs.
Yeah, absolutely. We might see it one more time again here in the top 4 as they enter in. Zach pouring on the angle around that inside clip, but Alan entering in door to door, sticking with him through the Manji section of the course as well. And then slowly reels Zach in out front through that big outside zone, right along that bumper. And Zach perfect around that last and final inside clip and out to that final outside zone. And we'll wait on these judges. Alan Hynes on the left, Zach O'Sullivan on the right, or again, could we see him go one more time here in the top 4?
It's going to be a tough decision for the judges.
And there it is, unanimous decision. Alan Hynes gets the win, and he'll move on to face Tikon Poleski in the finals. And we'll see Zach face off against KO Fonseca for that third place position here for round 7. But a fantastic showing by both of those drivers here in the top 4.
A very good showing indeed. Now to see who's going to take that last podium spot. That third place. Will it be KO Fonseca? Will it be Zach O'Sullivan? Here we go for the third place matchup battle. KO Fonseca out front. Zach O'Sullivan giving chase. KO initiates in. Looking good off of that initiation. Zach taking out that inside clip as they transition down to the Manji section, leaving almost no room for that transition. Right into clip 5. There again, Zach just putting it right onto the wheel and onto the door of KO, but pushing KO into the wall a little bit. KO is not too upset, has to drop a tire. That's going to upset his run here into that transition and through the rest of it, but he makes it stick.
Yeah, unfortunate bit of contact there, leaving that clip 5. We'll take another look here. Fonseca out front, initiating in, gets around that inside clip nicely. Zach sticking with him right along that bumper through that first transition. Fonseca filling these outside zones nicely, settles into clip 5. Very, very good with a lot of angle. And there you see just the slight taps there, sending Fonseca wide for that next outside zone. And there they go, finishing out the first half of their third place battle.
And now for the second half. Zach O'Sullivan out front. KO Fonseca giving chase. The lights go solid, and the second half is underway before we move into our final battle of the day. Initiating in, Zach O'Sullivan, KO right there with him. Zach still taking out that inside clip, and KO really putting on the pressure as they come through this Manji section into clip 5. This big wall ride, and KO goes right up to the door, backs off just a little bit, but then starts to surge again as they transition into the inside clip. KO's right there on him, trying to stick away, but Zach manages to pull away at the last second.
Yeah, and here we go with that replay here. Zach out front in that Supra, and KO right there on the bumper as they initiate in. Zach a little bit on the inside for inside clip 1. And then nicely out to outside zone 2 and 3 as well, giving up a little bit of room in between. But there you see Fonseca really dive in for clip 5, sticking right there with Zach O'Sullivan. Last and final transition. Zach gets around that clip nicely and then sacrifices maybe just a little bit of angle there and starts to pull away from Fonseca in that chase position. But we'll go to the judges. And again, winner will take home that third place podium finish for round 7 here at Mondello Park. Who's it going to be, KO Fonseca or Zach O'Sullivan? Judges might take their time and go look back at that contact that happened in the first half, which sent Fonseca into that clip 5 wall just a little bit, straightened him out, gave him a ton of speed for that last and final transition, and then ended up dropping a tire there.
Going to be a hard decision. They want to make the right call, and
oh, okay. So Zach O'Sullivan is actually going to get the win, and I took a moment there to listen to Chris explain it to those drivers. And the way they saw it is Fonseca got into the wall just a little bit before that contact happened between him and Zach, which they feel caused the contact there between the two. And Zach gets third place here for round 7 at Mondello Park.
And now we move into our final battle. Congratulations to Zach O'Sullivan. But now, the one we've been waiting for, Tikhon Poleski in the fresh S14 up against Pro Drift Academy's S15. Alan Hynes is for round 7 Virtual Drift Championships here at Mondello Park. Lots of angle from Tikhon. Tikhon goes wide to the first inside clip, and Alan almost pushes them off the track as he tries to adjust for that angle difference as they come through the Manji section into clip 5. On the door now is Alan Hynes to Tikon Poleski. A mistake from the robot. This is insane right now, as Alan Hynes is still on the door of Tikon all the way through to the finish.
Yeah, really applying that pressure and showing he wants the win here in this battle. Tikon out front, and again, that side-by-side initiation. Tikon goes super wide for that first inside clip. Alan sticks with him. They make their first transition, and Alan continues to apply that pressure in that chase position. There they are, flying through clip 5 here. Alan right there with him, and along the bumper once more for the final transition. Very clean around that inside clip is Tikon, and there they go, finishing out the first half of this final battle.
I hope Tikon had enough time to reset the AI as he drove back around, because obviously there was some coding issues on that first run. As we get on to it, the second half of the battle. Alan Hynes out front, Tikon giving chase. Tikon almost hits the front of Alan Hynes off the initiation as they come through that inside clip. Look at this. Look how close Tikon's trying to get. Alan Hynes doing a good job out front here as they come into clip 5. Tikon really going door to door with Alan, keeping it all the way around clip 5. Little bit of a gap there as they come into the transition. Inside perfectly by Alan Hynes. Tikon right on the door though, pushing Alan Hynes through to the finish.
Oh man. And here we go, maybe with the final replay of the day. Alan Hynes out front, and there's another side-by-side initiation. This time Alan gets that first inside clip, but Tikon again sticks with him. Alan on a really good line there through that second outside zone and through this Manji section. And there you see Tikon right on the door, almost pushing Alan through that outside zone. Last and final transition, Alan ends up a little bit on the inside, not quite getting that bumper around, and then getting pushed across that finish line by Tikon. Poleski will go to the judges again, maybe for the final time today. Tikon on the left, Alan Hynes on the right.
What
and there battle. It is. Unanimous decision. Alan Hynes gets the win over Tikon Poleski with Tikon's mistake out front, missing that first inside clip. Both of them applying a ridiculous amount of pressure in their chase positions, but that is going to do it. Alan Hynes gets the win here for round 7 at his home track here in Mondello Park in Ireland. And wow, what an event today.
Unreal. What a final battle. That was something to watch for. Congratulations to all the drivers today, but these 3 here, your top 3, they were the ones to be today.
Absolutely, as they take their celebratory 3-man, and Alan's gonna lead them through.
And they're in the proper order this time around.
They sure are. And doing a good job. Look at Tikon there. Oh no! Oh no! They continue on anyway.
I love how this just become the thing. Like, this isn't something we tell the drivers to do. This is just something they started doing, and they've just continued doing.
Oh, well, they better continue to do it, or I'm gonna be upset. Wow. Again, fantastic showing by all of them. We'll pull up the bracket just one more time here, and you can see how it played out. Alan Hynes gets the win again here for round 7, Mondello Park. Tikon Poleski gets second, and it doesn't show there on the screen, but Zach O'Sullivan will take home 3rd place today and keep himself maybe into the fight of the championship. I don't know. It's going to be close now that Tikon has won yet another event. That was already 43 points between Tikon and Alan. Zach was still in 3rd, and then Darius, who was in 4th and current rookie of the year, unfortunately was not able to qualify today and make it into the top 32.
Yeah, so the tallies have already been updated for the Drivers' Championship standing. 576 for Tikon, 545 now for Alan Hynes.
Yeah, so really something crazy needs to happen for the final round for Tikhon to not win the championship.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, thinking of it, man, because yeah, that's a lot of math to do right off the spot here while we're live streaming. But I think it'll
Yeah.
be great going into the final round with the points this close.
Absolutely, and we've got almost a month break in between the two rounds, between this round and the next. Our final event for season 6 on May 14th. But again, that's going to do it for round 7 here at Mondello Park. We thank everybody for tuning in today. We had a blast with these drivers going absolutely nuts here at really the same layout that we saw in the finals of last season, with a couple of changes. If you're interested in downloading the track, we've got a couple of small updates to do. Probably over the weekend. It might not be today. It might be tomorrow when it gets released out to the public, but it'll be worth it. Track looks so much better than last season. A lot of texture updates. The entire track got shader updates as well. Jonathan pitched in with his skid marks as usual, and a couple of other things here and there, just like his props that are placed around the track. But just fantastic layout to have fun on, and of course we'll put it on our public server, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't joined our Discord, join our Discord, because the track will be released to our Discord first for that early access to our Discord community. But again, thanks to our sponsors as well: Next Level Racing, TireStacks.com, and Grip Royal. Again, my name is Craig. With me, as always, is Tanner. This has been Round 7 at Mondello Park, and we'll see everybody back on May 14th for the final round of Season 6.